before India had a name, when a civilization was still a land. Long before the word India ever existed, before borders, flags, or kingdoms, this land was simply earth, water, wind, and time. No chronicles were written here. No rulers carved their names into stone. History was not recorded, it was lived. Thousands of years ago, the region we now call India looked nothing like it does today. Vast forests stretched endlessly beneath open skies. Mighty rivers flowed freely, shaping valleys and plains. Snow-covered mountains stood silent in the north, while warm coastal winds carried the scent of the sea in the south. Nature ruled everything. The first humans who arrived here did not build cities or temples. They were hunters and gatherers, moving slowly across the land in small groups. Their lives were guided by the seasons, the movement of animals, and the availability of food. Survival was their only purpose. They used simple stone tools to cut meat, break bones, and shape wood. Fire, once discovered, changed everything. It brought warmth, protection, and a sense of community. Around flickering flames, stories were likely shared, fears were calmed, and bonds were formed. Though their voices are lost to time, their presence remains. In central India, the caves of Bhimbetka still carry echoes of these early people. On their walls are paintings that are tens of thousands of years old. They show hunters chasing deer, groups of humans dancing, and animals that once roamed freely across the subcontinent. These images are not art alone, they are memories frozen in stone. As the Ice Age slowly faded, the land began to change. The climate grew warmer, forests expanded, and animals multiplied. Humans adapted. They learned where to find water during dry seasons and which plants were safe to eat. Over time, they began to stay longer in certain areas, returning to the same riverbanks year after year. The rivers became lifelines. Among them, one would shape the future more than any other, the Indus River. Fed by melting Himalayan glaciers, it carried fertile soil across the plains, creating a land rich enough to support permanent settlements. People who once wandered endlessly now began to pause, observe, and build. Slowly, the idea of home was born. By around 7000 BCE, early farming communities had emerged in places like Mauryas in present-day Pakistan. Here, humans domesticated animals, planted crops, and stored grain. For the first time, they planned for the future instead of merely reacting to the present. With settled life came new ideas, cooperation, shared labor, and early social structures. Families grew. Villages formed. Knowledge passed from one generation to the next. Tools became more refined. Pottery appeared. Trade began in its simplest form. Yet, this was still not India. There were no kings, no written laws, no empires. What existed was something far more important, a foundation. A deep, ancient relationship between humans and the land. The diversity that would one day define India was already taking shape. Different regions developed different ways of life. Some communities depended on rivers, others on forests, and some on coastal waters. Languages, beliefs, and customs began to vary, even at this early stage. Time moved forward quietly, layer by layer. Centuries passed. Millennia passed. The land absorbed every footprint, every fire, every forgotten life. And then, slowly, something remarkable began to form. Out of these small villages and scattered communities, the world's earliest urban civilization would soon rise, planned cities, complex societies, and systems far ahead of their time. A civilization so advanced that even today, it leaves historians in awe. But that story was still waiting. For now, this was a land before names. A land before crowns. A land preparing, patiently, for history to begin. The Indus Valley Civilization, a forgotten giant. Around 5,000 years ago, while much of the world was still learning how to survive, something extraordinary was taking shape along the banks of the Indus River. Quietly, without grand announcements or legendary heroes, one of the world's earliest and most advanced civilizations was being born. Today, we call it the Indus Valley Civilization. Stretching across a vast area of modern-day Pakistan and northwestern India, this civilization was not centered around a single city. Instead, it was a network of hundreds of settlements, towns, villages, and great urban centers, all connected by trade, shared culture, and astonishingly sophisticated planning. The most famous among these cities were Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. From above, these cities reveal something almost unbelievable for their time. Streets were laid out in perfect grids. Houses were built from uniform baked bricks. Drainage systems ran beneath the roads, carrying wastewater away from homes, a level of urban planning that many parts of the world would not achieve again for thousands of years. Every house, rich or poor, had access to clean water. Wells were carefully constructed. Public baths, such as the famous Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, suggest that cleanliness and ritual held deep importance in daily life. And yet, for all their brilliance, the people of the Indus Valley remain mysterious. They left behind thousands of seals carved with animals, symbols, and a script that has never been fully deciphered. We do not know their kings' names, or if they even had kings at all. There are no giant statues celebrating rulers, no massive palaces dominating the cities. Instead, what we see is balance. The cities show little evidence of extreme inequality. Homes are similar in size. There are no obvious signs of slavery or royal excess. Power, if it existed, seems to have been organized quietly, through systems rather than personalities. Trade was the lifeblood of this civilization. Indus merchants exchanged goods such as cotton textiles, beads, pottery, and metalwork with distant lands, including Mesopotamia. Standardized weights and measures were used, showing a high level of economic organization and trust. The people of the Indus Valley were skilled craftsmen. Their jewelry was delicate and detailed. Their pottery was both practical and beautiful. They worked with bronze, copper, and gold. Cotton, one of India's greatest contributions to the world, was being cultivated and woven here thousands of years ago. Religion, too, leaves faint traces. Figurines suggest the worship of fertility figures, possibly early forms of mother goddesses. Seals depicting animals in meditative postures hint at beliefs that may later influence Indian spiritual traditions. And then, just as mysteriously as it rose, the Indus Valley Civilization began to fade. By around 1900 BCE, cities were gradually abandoned. Streets once filled with life fell silent. Wells dried. Trade networks collapsed. No clear evidence of massive invasion or sudden destruction has been found. Instead, Scholars believe a combination of natural changes may have played a role. Rivers may have shifted their courses. Climate patterns likely changed, causing floods in some areas and droughts in others. Agriculture suffered. Slowly, people moved away, seeking more stable lands. There was no dramatic end, no single moment of collapse. Just a quiet withdrawal. But the civilization did not truly disappear. Its people carried their knowledge, skills, and traditions with them. Elements of their culture flowed into the societies that followed. The idea of urban planning, hygiene, trade, and spiritual symbolism did not vanish, it transformed. The Indus Valley may not have left behind epic poems or royal inscriptions, but it left something more powerful, a blueprint for civilization. It proved that complex societies could exist without loud displays of power. That cities could be built around order rather than fear. That life could be organized through cooperation, planning, and respect for the environment. Centuries later, new people would arrive. New languages would be spoken. New beliefs would rise around sacred fires and spoken hymns. And from those changes, a new chapter of Indian history would begin, one shaped by words instead of bricks. The Vedic Age, when words became sacred. After the great cities of the Indus Valley slowly faded into silence, the land did not fall empty. Life continued, but it changed its voice. Where bricks and streets once spoke, now words, songs, and rituals began to shape civilization. This period is known as the Vedic Age, named after the Vedas, some of the oldest sacred texts in human history. Around 1500 BCE, groups of people speaking early Indo-Aryan languages gradually entered the Indian subcontinent from the northwest. They did not arrive as a single army or empire. Instead, they came in waves, settling among existing communities, blending, adapting, and transforming the cultural landscape. These people lived mostly in rural settlements. Their world revolved around cattle, agriculture, and the rhythm of nature. Rivers, forests, fire, wind, and sky were not just natural forces, they were divine. Unlike the Indus people, the early Vedic society did not build massive cities. Their greatest creations were spoken rather than built. Knowledge was memorized, chanted, and passed down orally from generation to generation with astonishing precision. The Rig Veda, the oldest of the Vedas, is a collection of hymns praising natural gods: Indra, the god of storms; Agni, the sacred fire; Varuna, the cosmic guardian of order. Fire rituals, known as yajnas, formed the heart of religious life. Through fire, humans communicated with the divine. Society during this time was organized but still flexible. People were divided into groups based on occupation: priests, warriors, farmers, and artisans. This system would later become more rigid, but in the early Vedic period, movement between roles was still possible. Families lived together in clans led by chiefs rather than kings. Decisions were often made in assemblies, showing early forms of collective governance. Women, especially in the early phase, held respected positions and participated in rituals and learning. As time passed, the Vedic world expanded eastward toward the fertile plains of the Ganges. Agriculture improved. Iron tools appeared. Villages grew larger, and power slowly concentrated in the hands of warrior leaders. With change came questions. People began to look beyond rituals and sacrifices. They asked deeper questions about life, death, and the meaning of existence. These thoughts gave rise to the Upanishads, philosophical texts that explored concepts like karma, rebirth, and the ultimate reality known as Brahman. This was a turning point. Religion shifted from outward rituals to inward reflection. The idea that truth could be found within oneself began to take root, an idea that would shape Indian thought for thousands of years. By the end of the Vedic Age, society had grown more complex. The simple clan-based system evolved into territorial kingdoms. Power, land, and authority became more clearly defined. The foundations of Indian culture, language, philosophy, social structure, and spirituality were firmly laid. Yet, this growing complexity also brought tension. The rigid social order troubled many. Rituals became expensive and exclusive. Spiritual dissatisfaction spread. And from this unrest, a powerful reaction was about to emerge. New teachers would rise. New paths would be offered. And India would witness one of the greatest spiritual revolutions in history. The age of Mahajanapadas, cities, kingdoms, and new ideas. By the 6th century BCE, the Indian subcontinent was changing once again. The quiet rhythm of village life was giving way to something louder, faster, and more complex. Forests were cleared. Roads were formed. Trade increased. And across northern India, cities returned. This was the age of the Mahajanapadas, 16 powerful kingdoms and republics that stretched across the fertile plains of the Ganges and beyond. Unlike the earlier Vedic clans, these were organized states with defined borders, standing armies, taxation systems, and capitals. Kingdoms such as Magadha, Kosala, Avanti, Vatsa, and Gandhara competed for power, wealth, and influence. Some were monarchies ruled by kings, while others were republics governed by councils. Among them all, Magadha began to rise above the rest. Its location gave it an advantage. Fertile land supported large populations. Iron resources allowed stronger weapons. Rivers enabled trade and movement. Slowly, Magadha became the heart of political power in ancient India. Cities like Rajgarh and later Pataliputra grew into bustling centers of commerce and administration. Merchants, artisans, monks, and travelers filled their streets. Coins replaced barter. Long-distance trade connected India with Central Asia and the Middle East. But with wealth and power came inequality. The old Vedic rituals had become complex and expensive, controlled mainly by priests. The rigid caste system was hardening. Ordinary people, farmers, traders, and laborers, began to feel distant from religion that no longer spoke to their everyday struggles. It was in this atmosphere of questioning and unrest that two extraordinary figures appeared, not as conquerors, but as teachers. The first was Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha. Born a prince, Siddhartha lived a life of luxury, shielded from suffering. But when he finally encountered old age, sickness, and death, he was deeply shaken. Leaving his palace behind, he searched for truth through years of meditation and self-discipline. Under a tree in Bodh Gaya, Siddhartha attained enlightenment. He realized that suffering comes from desire, and that freedom is possible through right understanding, right action, and inner balance. His message was simple, compassionate, and revolutionary. The Buddha rejected caste divisions and complex rituals. He taught in the language of the people. His ideas spread quickly, carried by monks who walked from village to village, offering hope and clarity. At the same time, another great teacher was spreading a different but equally powerful message, Mahavira, the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism. Mahavira taught the principle of ahimsa, or non-violence, to its extreme form. He believed that all living beings possess a soul and deserve respect. Self-discipline, truth, non-attachment, and compassion were the paths to liberation. Together, Buddhism and Jainism challenged the old order. They questioned authority, rejected blind rituals, and placed responsibility directly on the individual. These movements did not destroy Vedic traditions, instead, they reshaped them. Indian spirituality became broader, deeper, and more inclusive. Meanwhile, political competition intensified. Kingdoms fought wars, formed alliances, and expanded territories. Fortified cities rose. Armies marched. Diplomacy and espionage became tools of statecraft. The stage was being set for something unprecedented. For the first time, the idea of a unified empire began to seem possible. Out of the conflicts and ideas of the Mahajanapada age, a new power would soon emerge, one that would unite much of the subcontinent under a single rule. A young man named Chandragupta Maurya was about to change the course of Indian history forever. The Maurya Empire, India united for the first time. By the late 4th century BCE, northern India was exhausted by constant war. Kingdoms rose and fell, alliances shifted, and ordinary people bore the cost of endless conflict. But from this chaos, a new force emerged, one that would do what no power had done before. It would unite much of the Indian subcontinent under a single rule. At the center of this transformation was a young man named Chandragupta Maurya. Little is known about his early life, but his ambition was clear. With the guidance of a brilliant strategist known as Chanakya, also called Kautilya, Chandragupta overthrew the powerful Nanda dynasty of Magadha and seized control of its capital, Pataliputra. Chanakya was more than a teacher. He was a master of politics, economics, and espionage. His ideas were later recorded in the Arthashastra, one of the world's earliest and most detailed manuals on statecraft. It described how an empire should be governed, through law, intelligence networks, taxation, diplomacy, and, when necessary, force. Under Chandragupta, the Maurya Empire expanded rapidly. Territory stretched from present-day Afghanistan in the west to Bengal in the east, and deep into the Deccan in the south. For the first time, a large part of India was politically unified. The empire was tightly administered. Officials monitored agriculture, trade, and public works. Roads connected distant regions. A standardized system of weights, measures, and taxes brought stability. An extensive spy network kept the emperor informed of both enemies and allies. After Chandragupta's reign, power passed to his son Bindusara, who continued the expansion. But it was Bindusara's son who would leave the deepest mark on Indian history. His name was Ashoka. Ashoka began his rule as a fierce and ambitious conqueror. He expanded the empire through military campaigns, the most brutal of which was the Kalinga War. The battle was devastating. Tens of thousands were killed. Cities were destroyed. families were torn apart. According to historical accounts, when Ashika walked across the battlefield after the war, the suffering he witnessed shook him to his core. That moment changed everything. Overcome by remorse, Ashika renounced aggressive warfare and embraced the teachings of Buddhism. But instead of retreating into silence, he chose a different path, ruling through Dharma, or moral law. Ashika's Dharma was not a religion imposed by force. It was a code of ethics based on compassion, tolerance, non-violence, and respect for all life. He encouraged kindness between people of different beliefs and cultures. He ordered the construction of hospitals, wells, roads, and rest houses for travelers. Most remarkably, Ashika carved his messages into stone. Across his empire, pillars and rock edicts were erected, inscribed with his thoughts and instructions. These inscriptions, written in languages the common people could understand, remain among the earliest written records in Indian history. Ashika sent Buddhist missionaries across Asia, to Sri Lanka, Central Asia, and beyond. Through them, Indian spiritual ideas spread far beyond the subcontinent, influencing civilizations across the world. After Ashika's death, the Maurya Empire slowly weakened. Strong central control faded. Regional powers regained independence. By around 185 BCE, the empire had collapsed. Yet its legacy endured. The Mauryas proved that India could be governed as a single political unit. They demonstrated the power of administration, law, and ethical rule. Ashika, in particular, left behind a model of leadership that placed humanity above conquest. India had tasted unity. But unity, as history would show, was never permanent. As the empire fell, new dynasties would rise, not through conquest alone, but through creativity, learning, and cultural brilliance. The Gupta Empire, India's golden age. After the fall of the Maurya Empire, India once again became a land of many kingdoms. For centuries, power shifted from one ruler to another. Yet, from this political fragmentation, something remarkable slowly emerged, not an empire built only on conquest, but on knowledge, creativity, and balance. By the early 4th centuries, a new dynasty rose in northern India, the Gupta Empire. Its founder, Chandragupta I, laid the groundwork through alliances rather than constant warfare. His successors expanded the empire, but it was under rulers like Samudragupta and Chandragupta II that the Guptas reached their peak. This period is often called India's Golden Age. Unlike empires that ruled through fear, the Guptas governed with a lighter hand. Local rulers retained autonomy while acknowledging imperial authority. This stability allowed art, science, and philosophy to flourish like never before. Cities grew prosperous. Trade routes connected India with Rome, Southeast Asia, and China. Gold coins circulated widely, reflecting economic confidence and wealth. But the true brilliance of the Gupta age lay in the mind. Indian mathematicians introduced concepts that would transform the world. The idea of zero, the decimal system, and advanced calculations were developed during this era. Without these ideas, modern science, engineering, and technology would be unimaginable. In astronomy, scholars calculated planetary movements and recognized that the Earth rotated on its axis. In medicine, ancient texts described surgical techniques, herbal treatments, and an understanding of anatomy far ahead of their time. Education thrived. Universities like Nalanda attracted students from across Asia. Philosophy, logic, grammar, and metaphysics were studied in depth. Knowledge was not confined to elites, it was celebrated. Art reached new heights as well. Gupta sculptures are known for their calm expressions and perfect proportions. Paintings, especially those seen in the Ajanta caves, reveal a deep understanding of emotion, movement, and storytelling. Religion during this time was both diverse and tolerant. Hinduism took on more defined forms, with the worship of Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi becoming widespread. At the same time, Buddhism and Jainism continued to thrive, supported by royal patronage. The Guptas did not force unity, they allowed variety. Yet, even golden ages do not last forever. From the northwest, foreign invasions began to pressure the empire. The Hunas disrupted trade and stability. Internal weaknesses grew. Gradually, imperial control weakened, and by the late 6th century, the Gupta Empire had fragmented. But its impact was permanent. The Gupta period shaped classical Indian culture, its art, language, science, and philosophy. It created a cultural identity that would influence generations long after political power had faded. India had once again transformed. Now, power would shift southward and outward. New kingdoms would rise along the coasts. Ships would carry Indian ideas across oceans. And regional cultures would shine in their own unique ways. Kingdoms of the south, temples, trade, and the open sea. While empires rose and fell in northern India, the southern regions of the subcontinent followed a different rhythm. Protected by geography and strengthened by the sea, South India became a land of powerful regional kingdoms, rich culture, and far-reaching trade networks. Here, history did not move in sudden conquests, it flowed steadily, like the oceans that carried its ships. Among the earliest southern powers were the Chola and Pandya dynasties, often referred to as the Tamil kingdoms. These states flourished as early as the 1st centuries BCE and continued, in various forms, for more than 1,000 years. Their society was deeply connected to literature and poetry. The Sangam texts, written in ancient Tamil, describe kings, warriors, love, nature, and daily life with remarkable emotional depth. These writings offer one of the oldest continuous literary traditions in the world. The southern kingdoms were not isolated. Their ports bustled with activity. Roman coins, amphorae, and foreign records reveal extensive trade with the Mediterranean world. Spices, textiles, pearls, and precious stones traveled across oceans, making South India an essential link in global commerce. Among all southern dynasties, none matched the power and ambition of the Chola Empire. At its height between the 9th and 13th centuries, the Cholas built one of the greatest naval empires of the medieval world. Their ships sailed across the Bay of Bengal, reaching Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, and beyond. Through trade and conquest, Indian culture spread far beyond the subcontinent. The Cholas were master administrators. Their villages practiced advanced local self-government. Inscriptions carved on temple walls record taxes, land grants, and public decisions, showing a highly organized society. And then there were the temples. Massive stone structures like the Brihadiswara temple at Thanjavur rose toward the sky, reflecting not just religious devotion but architectural genius. These temples were more than places of worship. They were centers of learning, art, music, and economic activity. South Indian art developed its own identity. Bronze sculptures captured movement and grace with stunning realism. Classical dance forms and music traditions took shape, blending devotion with artistic expression. Religion here was deeply personal and expressive. Bhakti movements emphasized love and surrender to God rather than ritual hierarchy. Saints and poets sang in local languages, making spirituality accessible to all. As centuries passed, South India remained culturally vibrant and politically resilient. Even when northern India faced invasions and instability, the southern kingdoms preserved traditions, knowledge, and prosperity. But change was coming. New powers from the northwest were entering the subcontinent. New faiths, new rulers, and new ideas would soon reshape the political landscape of India once again. For the first time, large parts of India would come under rulers whose cultural roots lay beyond the subcontinent. A new chapter was about to begin, one marked by conflict, adaptation, and fusion. The Delhi Sultanate, new rulers, new world. By the early 13th centuries, India was ready for another transformation. From the northwest, mounted warriors, scholars, and administrators arrived, bringing with them new faiths, customs, and systems of governance. This marked the beginning of the Delhi Sultanate, a period of profound political and cultural change. The Delhi Sultanate was not a single dynasty but a succession of 5 major ones: the Mamluks, Slave Dynasty, Khaljis, Tughlaqs, Sayyids, and Logis. For over 3 centuries, they ruled large parts of northern India, establishing Delhi as the political and cultural capital. The arrival of the sultans introduced Islamic governance to India. They built forts, mosques, and administrative centers. Military campaigns expanded their influence across plains and rivers. Delhi became a hub of power, attracting scholars, artisans, and merchants from Central Asia, Persia, and the Middle East. Architecture flourished during this era. The Qutb Minar, rising over 70 meters in Delhi, became a symbol of a new ruler's ambition. Forts like Tughlaq-Abad showcased strength, planning, and innovation. Indo-Islamic architectural styles began blending with local Indian traditions, creating a unique aesthetic that endures to this day. Yet, the sultans faced challenges. India's northern plains were vast and diverse. Language, culture, and religion varied widely. Maintaining control over far-flung territories required diplomacy, strategic marriages, alliances, and sometimes sheer military might. Trade and economy grew under the sultans. Craftsmen, weavers, and jewelers produced goods sought after in distant lands. Cities like Delhi, Lucknow, and Multan became centers of learning, art, and commerce. Religiously, the period was complex. Sufism, with its message of love and tolerance, spread across India. Sufi saints traveled villages and towns, blending mysticism with everyday life. Their teachings, often delivered in local languages, made spiritual ideas accessible to common people, creating a bridge between cultures. Despite political challenges and occasional rebellion, the Delhi Sultanate laid foundations for administrative systems, coinage, taxation, and urban planning that future empires would adopt and expand. Cultural synthesis, blending Persian, Turkic, and Indian traditions, became a hallmark of India's evolving identity. But the Sultanate era was also marked by conflict and ambition. Power struggles within dynasties, revolts by regional governors, and external invasions were common. Northern India remained a mosaic of tension and negotiation, where authority was constantly contested. Through these centuries, India became a land of layered identities. Hindu and Muslim communities coexisted, traded, and sometimes clashed. New ideas merged with old ones. Cities buzzed with languages, markets, and spiritual debates. The Delhi Sultanate was not merely a time of conquest, it was a period of fusion and transformation, setting the stage for a future empire that would bring grandeur, art, and monumental architecture to its peak. Soon, a new dynasty would rise, one that would unite much of India under a single banner, create breathtaking monuments, and leave a mark on history that would last centuries. The Mughal Empire, power, art, and glory. By the early 16th century, India was once again ready for a new chapter. The Delhi Sultanate had set the stage, but the subcontinent longed for a unifying force, a dynasty that could combine political might, culture, and artistry. Into this world stepped the Mughals, descendants of Central Asian warriors, ready to leave an indelible mark on India. The Mughal story began with Babur, a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan. A warrior from the rugged mountains of Central Asia, Babur was ambitious and skilled in warfare. In 1526, at the First Battle of Panipat, he defeated the last Sultan of Delhi, establishing the foundation of the Mughal Empire. Babur was not only a conqueror but also a keen observer. He recorded detailed memoirs of his journeys, battles, and the lands he conquered. Through his eyes, India was a land of incredible diversity, beauty, and opportunity. His grandson, Akbar the Great, elevated the empire to heights previously unseen. Akbar's reign was marked by visionary leadership, religious tolerance, and cultural brilliance. He expanded the empire across northern, central, and western India, forging alliances through diplomacy and marriage as often as through conquest. Akbar's genius lay not only in warfare but in governance. He organized a vast bureaucracy, standardized taxation, and promoted merit over birth in administration. Religious and cultural policies encouraged tolerance, allowing Hindus, Muslims, Jains, and others to coexist and flourish. Under the Mughals, art and architecture reached unprecedented heights. Miniature paintings depicted court life, battles, and religious stories in vibrant colors and intricate detail. Literature, music, and philosophy thrived under royal patronage. The crown jewel of Mughal architecture, however, was yet to come. Monuments like the Fateh Sikri, Red Fort, and the Taj Mahal, built by Shah Jahan in memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, became symbols of artistic and engineering brilliance. These structures blended Persian, Islamic, and Indian styles into a unique, enduring aesthetic. Life in the Mughal era was a mixture of grandeur and complexity. Cities buzzed with trade, markets overflowed with spices, textiles, and jewels, while the empire's bureaucracy maintained order across vast territories. Roads, irrigation systems, and cities expanded, connecting regions and peoples in ways never seen before. Yet, the empire was not without challenges. Succession struggles, rebellions, and regional conflicts tested its resilience. Emperor Aurangzeb, the last of the great Mughal rulers, expanded the empire to its largest territorial extent but faced growing dissent and administrative strain. By the early 18th century, Mughal authority weakened, leaving space for new powers, both Indian and foreign, to rise. Still, the legacy of the Mughals endured. They unified vast territories, fostered cultural synthesis, and created art, literature, and architecture that continue to define India's identity. The empire demonstrated that power could be paired with patronage, and that beauty could coexist with conquest. The stage was set for another dramatic transformation. This time, the change would come not from within India but from across the oceans, an empire that ruled from afar, forever altering India's political, social, and economic landscape. The British Raj, empire from afar. By the 17th century, India's wealth, diversity, and strategic location had attracted attention from across the seas. Traders, explorers, and eventually armies arrived, seeking spices, textiles, and precious metals. Among them, the British East India Company would change the subcontinent forever. The company began as a trading enterprise in the early 1600s. Its initial goal was simple: profit. They built factories, secured ports, and traded with Indian kingdoms. Cities like Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay became hubs of commerce. Over time, commerce evolved into influence, and influence into power. By the mid-18th century, India's internal divisions allowed the British to expand, weakening Mughal authority. Regional rivalries, and competing kingdoms provided opportunities for strategic alliances, wars, and annexations. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 marked a turning point. A small British force defeated the Nawab of Bengal, establishing the East India Company as a dominant political player. The company ruled with a mix of military might and administrative innovation. They introduced taxation systems, standardized laws, and bureaucracies. Railways, telegraphs, and modern infrastructure began to spread, but often primarily to serve British economic interests. Life under the British was complex. While trade and technology brought change, many suffered from heavy taxation, land dispossession, and famine. The exploitation of India's resources fueled Europe's Industrial Revolution, leaving local populations to bear the human cost. Yet, this period also ignited resistance and consciousness. Revolts and movements rose, both armed and intellectual. The 1857 revolt, often called the First War of Independence, marked the beginning of a long struggle for freedom. Though it was suppressed, it ignited a sense of unity and determination across India. Education, too, changed under colonial rule. English-language schools, universities, and new systems of learning created a generation capable of both understanding European ideas and reconnecting with India's own heritage. Social reformers began questioning old customs, caste discrimination, and gender inequality. Religions, languages, and cultures continued to flourish. Sufi shrines, temples, mosques, and local festivals maintained their central place in daily life. India remained a land of profound spiritual and cultural resilience, even under foreign rule. By the early 20th century, the Indian subcontinent was a land of contrasts: immense wealth and deep poverty, modern infrastructure and ancient traditions, colonial control and rising nationalist aspirations. The stage was set for the next great transformation, a struggle for freedom that would capture the imagination of the world. Freedom struggle, the long road to independence. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, India's spirit was awakening. Decades of British rule had left deep marks: modern infrastructure, Western education, and new administrative systems, but they had also created resentment, inequality, and a longing for self-rule. Across cities, villages, and forests, people began to imagine a future where India could govern itself. The struggle for freedom was long, complex, and diverse. It was not the work of a single leader, region, or idea. Instead, it was a mosaic of movements, strategies, and voices that together formed a rising chorus of resistance. One of the most transformative figures of this era was Mahatma Gandhi. Trained as a lawyer in England, Gandhi returned to India with a vision rooted in justice, non-violence, and truth. He believed that freedom could not be won through hatred or bloodshed, but through peaceful resistance and moral courage. His methods, satyagraha and civil disobedience, became the foundation of mass movements across the country. Gandhi was not alone. Revolutionary leaders like Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, and Subhas Chandra Bose challenged colonial power in their own ways, embracing courage, strategy, and, at times, force. Together, these movements inspired millions to dream of an independent India. Mass movements such as the Non-Cooperation Movement, 1920–22, the Salt March, 1930, and the Quit India Movement, 1942, united people across regions, religions, and classes. Students, farmers, merchants, and laborers all played a part. Slogans, songs, pamphlets, and marches transformed ordinary streets into avenues of revolution. Yet, freedom came at a cost. Repression by colonial authorities was harsh. Thousands were imprisoned. Many were tortured or executed. Families suffered. Villages burned. Cities watched as protests were met with bullets. The journey tested the patience, endurance, and resilience of an entire nation. Alongside political struggle, social reform became an inseparable part of India's quest. Leaders worked to challenge caste discrimination, uplift women, and ensure education for all. Freedom, they realized, was not just political, it was social, cultural, and spiritual. The journey culminated in 1947, but with triumph came tragedy. India was partitioned into two nations, India and Pakistan. Millions were displaced. Countless lives were lost. Communities that had lived together for centuries were torn apart. The dream of freedom was realized, but at an unimaginable human cost. Even in sorrow, hope endured. India emerged as a sovereign nation, ready to write a new chapter, one where democracy, diversity, and unity would guide its people. The centuries of kingdoms, empires, invasions, and resistance had prepared India for this moment. The freedom struggle was not merely a fight against foreign rule. It was a story of identity, resilience, and belief, a story proving that a civilization that had survived millennia could rise, adapt, and reclaim its destiny. Modern India, a civilization that never slept. August 15, 1947, a date forever etched in the memory of millions. After centuries of kingdoms, empires, invasions, and revolutions, India became a sovereign nation. The long journey from prehistoric forests to bustling cities, from Indus streets to Mughal courts, and from colonial chains to freedom struggles had finally reached its culmination. But independence was only the beginning. India was not a blank slate, it was a civilization layered with history, diversity, and complexity. Its task was immense, to unify over 500 princely states, multiple languages, countless religions, and a population of hundreds of millions into a functioning, democratic republic. The architects of modern India, led by Jawaharlal Nehru, envisioned a nation guided by science, secularism, and democracy. The Constitution of India, adopted in 1950, became a beacon of rights, equality, and justice. For the first time, a nation of immense diversity committed itself to governance by the people, for the people. India's progress was neither linear nor easy. Waves of challenges tested its resolve: partitions, lingering trauma, poverty, illiteracy, social inequalities, and border conflicts. Yet, through resilience and determination, the country steadily carved its path. Railways expanded, industries grew, and cities became hubs of commerce and innovation. Schools and universities spread knowledge to millions, blending ancient wisdom with modern science. Culturally, India continued its legacy of fusion. Bollywood films, classical music, dance, literature, and regional arts flourished alongside global influences. Festivals, languages, and traditions thrived, reflecting the unity and diversity that had defined India for millennia. Technologically and economically, India began to make its mark. From launching satellites into space to building a digital economy, modern India merged its ancient heritage with futuristic ambition. Innovations in medicine, technology, and engineering transformed everyday life, even as rural areas retained deep connections to centuries-old practices. Spiritually and socially, India remained a land of exploration. Yoga, meditation, and philosophies of compassion found followers worldwide. Social movements continued to fight for equality, women's rights, and environmental sustainability, reflecting the ongoing evolution of a society that had always sought balance between tradition and progress. Modern India is more than its cities or its politics. It is a living tapestry of civilizations, a bridge between the past and the future. Its rivers still flow as they did in the Indus Valley, its forests and mountains echo with stories of hunters, warriors, and sages. The lessons of empires, saints, and freedom fighters remain alive in its people, guiding each generation to shape history anew. In every street, every classroom, every temple, mosque, church, or gurdwara, the story of India continues. It is a civilization that never stopped dreaming, never stopped learning, and never stopped surviving. From prehistoric caves to modern metropolises, from silent rivers to bustling ports, India stands as a testament to human endurance, creativity, and vision. The journey of India is unfinished. Its history is not just a chronicle of the past, it is a living narrative, still evolving, still growing, still inspiring. Every citizen, every story, every achievement adds a new layer to this ancient land. India's story reminds us, civilizations are not built in a day, nor are they defined by conquest alone. They are shaped by human spirit, resilience, and the courage to adapt. And as India steps forward into the 21st century, it carries with it the lessons, glories, and dreams of thousands of years. From the first humans walking along rivers to the skyscrapers of Mumbai and Bangalore, from the chants of Vedic sages to the digital age, India's journey is one of endurance, diversity, and eternal transformation. This is the story of India, the entire history of a civilization that has survived, thrived, and will continue to shape the world for generations to come.